So the brand new Premier League fixtures are here for October, and today I'm in the bottom left hand corner and I'm quite small because there's so much to try and fit on the screen. You don't know how hard it is to try fit 4 pictures with so many different fixtures on the screen. But today we're here to talk about the new fixtures that the Premier League have released for October. There's 3 game weeks in here, not as much as usual because there's an international break in the middle of October. So here we are with the fixtures and what I think the best captains are for each of the game days that were released. You'll see starting from the top left on the 7th of October, we have our first round of fixtures. To be fair, there's not actually too many great captaincies here. You've got an option for Rashford against Brentford, Chelsea, possibly a Chelsea captain away to Burnley. But for me, I think the Spurs captain away to Luton is the best option. Now I've picked Richarlison as the best Spurs captain. That's just for now. I do think Richarlison will get better for Spurs, and I've went for him for now, but we've got 7 weeks before we need to actually decide. So if you want to pick Maddison, you can pick Maddison. For me, I've went for Richarlison, and yeah, so he's there. On the Sunday, we have Arsenal v City. We also have Liverpool v Brighton and Newcastle versus West Ham. I think that's a simple Haaland captain there. Yeah, there's not really too much else going on there. Liverpool away to Brighton's a difficult fixture, so there's no Liverpool players I'd be picking. And Man City are playing, which means Haaland's probably going to be the captain. The Saturday of the next week then, we have a Merseyside derby with Liverpool and Everton. And there's also City at home to Brighton, so again that's another one where Haaland has been picked as the captain. There's also a London derby with Chelsea and Arsenal. Would avoid that for captaincy. And Salah doesn't have a good record. He doesn't have a bad record either against Everton, but again, City are playing at home against Brighton, so that's an easy Haaland captain. On the Sunday we've got 2 games, United and Sheffield and Villa and West Ham. That's an easy Rashford captain. Again, in the next 7 weeks, if another United player ends up banging the goals in, you can go for them instead. But for now, Rashford, easily the best captain there against Sheffield. And then we have our first single game day. There's only 2 single game days released for October's fixtures. Both of them include Spurs. This first one is Spurs at home against Fulham. Again, I went for Richarlison because I've got him down as the best Spurs player. And then for the Friday and the week after, we have Palace, who are at home to Spurs as well. Once again, we're going for Richarlison, so that's 2 Richarlison captaincies in the space of 5 days. On that Saturday as well, we have Chelsea v Brentford, again a decent option, but Arsenal at home to Sheffield, which means Saka is definitely the best choice there. And then finally on the Sunday we have Salah versus Nottingham Forest. Again, you could pick Haaland away to Man United, but I think that's one of those games with Salah at home at Anfield against one of the worst defences in the league. That's one where I would pick Salah. Alright, now we've got lots of tables and now I'm in the right hand corner. We have so much different stuff to get through. It might look quite confusing at first, but I'm going to try my best to explain this. On the left we have best captains from game week 2 to 12. That's starting from tonight with the Nottingham Forest game every single game day. The best captains, so we've got Haaland 7 times, Salah 4 times, Awoniyi 3 times, Chilwell 3 times, Richarlison 3 times, Rashford 2 times, Saka 2 times, Watkins 1 time, Bowen 1 time. Now, obviously I've got stuff like Chilwell here. If you prefer Jackson as a captain, that can be Jackson's 3 times. You know, the same thing as I said with Richarlison. If you don't want Richarlison, you want Maddison, again, you're happy to change that. But that's what I'm going for the best captains between now and game week 12. On the top right beside me is the best captains for the newly released fixtures. So that is just a couple of game days that we have announced. Richarlison 3 times, you've seen that in the previous clip. Haaland twice, Rashford once, Salah once, Saka once. So kind of these players you're going to be having already. I think most people are going to have at least 3 of Haaland, Rashford, Salah and Saka anyways. So there's not too much really going on there. I think when it comes to October, the one thing we need to look at is getting in a Spurs player. Preferably a Spurs attacker, so maybe Son will be good by then. Kulusevski could possibly come into form. But right now it's really looking like it's going to be Richarlison or Maddison who comes in there. The bottom table just shows us the single game days. That's every single game day from now until the TV fixtures are released. So you'll see on the right hand side, teams with more than 2 single match days are Palace, Fulham, Luton, and then teams with 3 single match days are Nottingham Forest and Chelsea. Now again, this obviously includes Nottingham Forest versus Sheffield, which happens tonight. But yeah, that is everything there. So again, the only thing you really need to take from this is Haaland and Salah should be in your team, with over 4 captaincies each between now and game week 12. A Nottingham Forest player for the 3 single game days, a Chelsea player for the 3 single game days, and then when it comes to October, there is 3 captaincy options for a Spurs player in there, so we will have a look at that. Alrighty, so looking at the spreadsheet then, we have mainly these fixtures, these fixtures that we have to pay attention to. Now, these are the ones that have been announced, and we're going to have a look at some 3-for-1s and basically like some hop-on points for players like Richarlison and the other captains if we're going to be getting rid of them. So looking at the captaincy days again, the first day for Richarlison's captain is against Luton. So this is when we're going to want to get Richarlison in, especially since Spurs have Liverpool in the week before. So we want to get him in here, and we want to have him for these games. So if we take a look at these games as a whole, we'll see if there's any 3-for-1s popping up with other teams. And there isn't. So at least 3-for-2s. So there's not really any fantastic places there. No 3-for-1s with the Spurs players, unfortunately. City have Arsenal and Brighton. That could be okay. It depends how many City players we've got by that point. I don't think there's going to be many that we want to hop off of. Liverpool with Brighton and Everton. Again, probably don't want to really get rid of them. Chelsea have Burnley and Arsenal. Again, it's not bad. Brighton, Liverpool and City. Now that's actually interesting. We could have Brighton. Richarlison plays against Luton. Say someone like a Dunk. You're saving 0.3 there. That could be a decent option. Arsenal as well with Man City and Chelsea. Hop off after the Bournemouth game. Right, so there's only one game there, so there's no really any extra fixtures to gain. If you want the Liverpool one, the only team you're gaining on there is Chelsea. No, you're not, because that's the Saturday after. So with there being no Friday game, there's no real option to gain an extra fixture, so it would really just be a sideways move to Richarlison. So I think Arsenal actually could be a very good option. I think if you're looking for Richarlison, he's obviously cheaper than say a Maddison would be. So Richarlison 8 million, hop off Dunk, as long as you've obviously the formation allows it. Hop off Dunk on the Saturday, get Richarlison in and captain him for literally all 3 of these games, giving you a 6-for-2, and the 2 being Brighton and City. And obviously if you're wanting Maddison, you might not have enough money to move off Dunk, so I think at that point you can say, like, if you're still holding Saliba by then, possibly that. I think you need to keep at least one Arsenal player, so Saka, because we've got him captain for the game against Sheffield, which is here, I believe. Yeah, so you want to keep at least Saka for that game. I think if you get any extra Arsenal players, hop off them and go to Richarlison or Maddison. But like I say, if you're going for Richarlison, Dunk's a good option to hop off of, or really anyone about that 8 mil range. And if you're wanting Maddison, who's a bit more expensive, maybe Rodri could be an option. Depends, because obviously they've got Arsenal, and then you're getting off before the Man United game as well. That could be actually a very good option for people with Rodri. But I think maybe a Saliba, again, if you're still holding him. If you want to hold Saliba through the United game and the Spurs game, it could be a good option to hop off him there and go for Maddison. In terms of the other captains, I think we've obviously got Saka. I think you should hold Saka right through all this. I know a couple of plans would have had him coming out after the Fulham game, but I think he could get a goal against United at home. Everton away, you'd expect a goal. Spurs at home, you would expect a goal. Bournemouth away, you didn't expect a goal. So I actually like the idea of hopping off Saka here. No, actually no, because you need to keep Saka. I think I'd maybe just hold, but you could always just do the transfer anyway. If it's just Saka you've got, hop off him on the Saturday, miss the City and Chelsea game, take the 3 captains from Richarlison or Maddison, and then move them back to Saka for Sheffield. That could be a good option. I like that actually. That's what I would do if you plan on holding Saka. Now, someone like Salah and Rashford. Now, where's their next captain? Where's their captains before that? Salah's the Sunday. I think he's easily the best captain there. So I think as well I would hold Salah. That gives you all these games. You're captaining him here against West Ham. So you hold Salah through Newcastle, through Villa, through Wolves. Captain him against West Ham. Hold him against Spurs. What day is it we're captaining him? Salah's been the captain against West Ham. And then the Sunday against Forest. Right, okay. So that's hold him through here, and then you end up captaining him here. I guess you could actually do... What have they got? Brighton and Everton? Nah, I wouldn't actually. I think that's another one. I would probably just hold Salah through it. So that means Rashford would be the one to hop off of at some point. Obviously, the Rashford captaincy comes in game week 3 for a lot of us against Nottingham Forest. Can easily hop off him to whoever you plan on doing. That's probably a transfer most of us have planned before the season started, to start with Rashford and then come off of him in the first couple of game weeks. So Rashford's comes out on the Saturday for whoever you're wanting on this Sunday. Hold him, and then you can bring Rashford back on the Sunday on the 22nd of October. Now that is this game here. So we're looking to bring Rashford back. When's the best time to do that? Obviously they're going to have City right after it. I think that could also be a good chance to hop off your City players. With only United, you're getting a 2-for-1 plus the captaincy is really a 3-for-1. I mean, you could do that with any of the teams that only have one fixture in this, which is most of them. Bournemouth, Brentford, Brighton, Burnley, Chelsea, so really anyone. So I think the best time to go into Rashford there would probably be that day with the Sheffield captaincy, because there's so many more teams with 2 fixtures here. If you're hopping on Rashford when the Brentford fixture comes around, you're missing out on like 2 fixtures from most of the other teams. So I think getting Rashford back in is probably this Sheffield day here. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything that needs to be covered. We've got the hop-on points for the players that need to be captained. I think I've got it all in this bit as well. But really, there's nothing like rogue. There's no dodgy single game days. We've got a lot of Spurs ones, which is great because that's just one transfer that needs to be made during October, which kind of gives the green light for people who want to use lots of transfers off the start, because you're probably not going to use that many in October, because you don't really have to get anyone in. And then back out again. You're really just going for the main captains, the 4 big guys, in Haaland, Salah, Saka, Rashford. They're 4 of your captains, and then you just have to get 1 Spurs player in October. But yeah, I think that's actually a fairly easy month to navigate for the Sky teams, so hopefully this helps you with your planning. Obviously it's still 7 weeks away, but as I say, it's good to prepare at least with a small draft before things get underway. But if you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.